Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brad and John, they're the ones to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. John, does this still work?
It's like you never left. It's like you still have a gallbladder.
Testing 1 2. It works. Okay, John, I have to tell you, we have so much to talk about today, don't we? I
don't think anything happened in the last 14 weeks that you were laid up as a gimp. I don't think anything happened in the news, did it, Brad?
Okay, first off, we'll talk about that. But most importantly, we have new streaming, and we have new streaming sites. And the new streaming is much better than the old streaming. And matter of fact, we now, if you want to sponsor our streaming, all you have to do is to go to either of the two websites, bjshow.co, and click on the streaming link. There's both a link at the top of the page and also on the pull down. There's a link where as well too, which will take you to streaming page. And there's a chance for you to buy the sponsorship on the streaming page, which will give you nice ads and stuff like that. But it's on both sites, bjshow.co and westplextalk.com. Both sites now have the new improved streaming, much better service, audio is much better, and instead of having the goofy wait and have to click on the cookies icon and stuff like that, once you get to the streaming page, once you hit the button for streaming, you get it like within a second or two at the most. So it's really good. So how's that for some improvements I did over the holiday, John?
I knew you were feeling better when it was maybe the day before Christmas. It was sometime wildly inappropriate where only I would be paying attention to website stuff. And you said, John, we got a new streaming. And I was like, I know the man's feeling better.
Well, for those of you following along in our studio audience, I had my surgery on Christmas Eve. We'll talk about that in C Block. And it did not go well. Let's just put it that way. I knew this was going to be complicated, and it was. And it wasn't as complicated as it could have been, but it did not go well. And there's an interesting part of the story about my son who took me to the hospital that didn't know we were going to the hospital. And I think I threw him off a little bit. But anyway, that's a whole other story. That is John Combest. Every single day, except for the past almost 2 weeks of his. No, you do it every day. You never miss a day. You're on Christmas.
Did you start to suggest that I take days off from my website? Are you kidding me?
Can I tell you a funny story? This morning, I listened.
Please do.
I listened to Mark Cox before going the end here, hear what they're talking about, and people are complaining to him. Take too many vacations, huh, Mark? Because they've been off. They've been off longer than we've been off. Our last day was the 23rd, right? His last day was like the Friday before the week of Christmas, which would have been like, the 19th, I think, or something like that.
Hey, you got to get your corporate vacation days in, Brad. It's like cigarettes for soldiers. You got to smoke them if you got them.
Anyway, John, every single day of his life, even though we haven't been on the air since the 23rd of December, John, every single day of his life, he soldiers on and puts together this incredible website called johncombest.com. Now, what we do is, there are so many things on johncombest.com on a daily basis. We have to sort of curate it. I love that word. That's an NPR word. We have to curate it down to the top 3. So we bring in this gentleman.
I'm Casey Kasem.
And what do you do?
We're on our way to the number 1.
And we start with?
In third place.
Who volunteered to manage the checkbook, then stole $250,000 smackaroos? Who printed maps for my friend Brad? Hildebrand wore a dress that made her breasts say peekaboo. It's Wendy Nordwald's case. The judge shows a lot of grace. Brad still wants to paint her face. Hey, FCC, I meant makeup. Hey, FCC, I meant makeup. Wendy Nordwald, back in the news, former Warren County assessor. We've been following her plight thanks to the good folks at the Warren County Record. Tim Schmidt runs a top-notch operation over there. And we've been following the case of Wendy because as regular listeners, I should say frequent listeners, we don't have any regular listeners, Brad. They're not regular, frequent. As frequent listeners know, Wendy Nordwald was busted because she was managing the checkbook of a statewide county employees retirement, actually the statewide assessors group. And she happened to, not allegedly, but was convicted for running off with about $250,000 of money that was not hers. You say, John, that's old news. What's going on with this? Well, she had a probation revocation case. And as you may remember, the judge ordered her to provide a bunch of documents. Well, to cut to the chase, Wendy showed up in early December with a bunch of documents, but it wasn't what the judge wanted. In other words, the judge had assigned some homework, and Wendy didn't do her homework. So finally, on Christmas Eve, that's right, December 23rd, as a buzzer beater before Christmas, Wendy finally submitted a little bit of paperwork that the judge wanted. And they also came to an agreement. Brad, this sounds really harsh, if you ask me, but I'm going to see what you think about it. Here's the agreement that Wendy cut with the prosecutor. She will give over her entire Missouri County Employees Retirement Pension check every month to pay restitution. That's $535.89 each month. And if she doesn't do that, she's going to be held in contempt of court. She'll also change her life insurance policy beneficiary to be the restitution department of the Warren County Prosecuting's Office. She's also, if she gets of her Social Security disability payment each month, she's going to give 15% of it to the prosecutor's office. And not to be outdone, she has to give her account login and password to this prosecutor's office. I'm sorry for laughing here. She has to give her login name and her password. I wonder what her password is. Probably I miss Brad Hildebrand's maps. And she also has to provide that to the prosecuting attorney's office. So what she has to do, Brad, is essentially give away 15% of her disability pay every month. She's got to give her entire county pension to the prosecutor's office. And she has to give up her login and password to make sure that she's not doing any funny business. Now, Brad, I think that's pretty harsh. I mean, she only stole $250,000 and moved to Florida. Why are we treating her like she's some common criminal?
John, her login and password to what? What account?
Oh, to her, the official name is the CERF, which is the County Employees Retirement Fund. So that's where she has accumulated legitimate money, as I understand it.
I gotcha. So in other words, they're going to log in to make sure that what she's getting, they're getting, essentially, right?
Yeah, and then whatever sum that she already has in there, she's not, siphoning off at Costco or somewhere else to give herself a little bit of money. Now, jokes aside, Brad, it seems like this is a case of Wendy making some really bad decisions. Besides choosing to flirt with Brad Hildebrand at the Warren County Assessor's Office years ago, she's made some other questionable choices. And it seems like now the Warren County office is really going to hold her accountable for this.
And she was very flirtatious with me that morning. I told this crazy story. I go to the Warren County Assessor's Office. Once again, this is the crazy thing. The crap transmitter site is down in what I'll call the valley there, north of Washington in Warren County. Flat as a board. All the farmers down there. And the farmers down there love me. Man, they just love me.
They can't get enough of you.
They can't get enough of me. So they have this, they started this in 2008, and this is because of your buddy, Rod Jetton, the village law, which didn't last an entire year. They started their own little village, and it's called the Village of Three Creeks, which nobody knows about, and they keep a secret down there. And I decided I wanted to go to Warren County one day and get a map of the Village of Three Creeks. And when I went up there, it was like I was trying to find out the password for the Powerball account so I could go in and figure out ahead of time what the winning numbers were going to be. And there was a guy waiting on me, and he was being, well, we can't get that to you. We can't give you a map. We can't show you anything. And she essentially pushed him aside, literally sort of walked in front of him and said, "Hi, sir, can I help you?" And she was dressed very nice with one of those dresses with like holes in it. And I mean like
I know what you mean, Brad.
Strategically placed holes like on her sleeve and on her shoulder and stuff like that. And she couldn't have been nicer to me. And she says, now, Brad, this is going to cost you? I think I paid $30. I said, I can afford that, Wendy. So she printed me off this giant map. And the crazy thing about it was I was cleaning up around the radio station here over the holidays. I found the map, John.
Yes, way to go, Brad. Does it still smell like Wendy?
I don't know. But, okay, I think she got off like a bandit with what you just said. I mean,
again, sarcasm aside, I think she got actually a pretty good deal here, Brad. And now, again, I don't remember in this particular piece, they didn't say exactly, how long how long she's actually served in the clink before with her probation being revoked and things like that. But Brad, I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money to steal.
Well, hold on. Here, let me do a little math here. Okay, how much was it a month she's paying the pension fund?
$500.
500. So let's do that times 12. So that would be.
I mean, you couldn't get these terms from Bank of Washington.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a pretty good deal.
That's $6,000 a year. Okay, so let's divide 2500. Hold on a minute.
$250,000. Yeah.
We'll divide $250,000. Oh my God! Hold on a minute. What's going on with my stupid calculator? They updated it. God, you know what?
I think the defibrillator that they secretly put in your chest is also affecting your phone, Brad.
You know what? I beyond basic calculator. Okay, I hate it when they update stuff on Apple. You know what I mean? It's okay. So
I do. I was trying to update something last night. I feel for you, Brad. While you do the calculations, I will point out that as you mentioned about Wendy, what if you go to the Warren County Assessor's website, you see some of their best reviews from Yelp. And you gave 5 stars, and all you said was, Wendy serviced me. Okay,
if she pays $6,000 a year and she repays her $250,000 debt, it will only take her 41.6 years to pay it off. And
that's not bad. She'll be your age by that time, Brad.
Well, she'd be older than me because of the fact that I do believe she's like 50, or maybe she is going to be my age. I think
she's a pup. For you, Brett. What was the name of the city? Village of Three Creeks?
Yes, it's the
name of it. You know what they don't have in common with Wendy Nordwald?
What's that?
Nobody's ever called Wendy flat as a board.
Okay.
Let's get into story number 2, Brett.
Up a notch to number 2.
I had to do what my friend and hospital patient, Brad Hildebrand, calls some rejiggering within the last hour. Because I thought we had our top 3 all set. Ho. But you're going to have to hold on to your freaking hat for story number 1. We'll do number 2, which was the previous number 1. You heard a lot, even over break, Brad, as you were recovering from your surgery, about Somali daycares. You didn't go to Minnesota to get your work done, but you could probably get up there and get a good Somali grant for doing some healthcare. But I digress. Last week, before break, think Friday, on my favorite station, well, one of my stations in Columbia, 93.9 The Eagle, Wake Up Missouri, hosted State Senator Nick Schroer right here from the Westplex. And Nick was asked a question straight up. Hey, this kind of fraud that goes on, is this just a Minnesota thing, or do you think it happens in Missouri? And Nick said, we will leave no stone unturned. Nick said he's in favor of turning over every stone to take a look at groups that are getting government money that might be engaged in a little bit of fraud. And they ask him on the show, hey, are there strong enough whistleblower protections in Missouri to protect folks? And Nick said, yeah, actually the state of Missouri has really strong whistleblower protections for folks who might want to drop a dime on any fraud that's going on in the state of Missouri. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, Brad, that Nick also brought up this year's top agenda item for Governor Kehoe, which is the hopeful elimination of Missouri's income tax. And it will be over a period of time, as I understand. But Nick pointed out, we can't just stop at eliminating the income tax. That's all well and good. But what about personal property taxes? And Brad, to get into something that you and I have gone back and forth in detail on, we will have to cut government services if we have property tax cuts. And you know what Nick says? Nick says, hey, that's kind of the point. We should be cutting spending. So we would never probably go in, Brad, as a state and tell counties, you got to cut your personal property taxes next year. You got to eliminate them next year. You got to have some kind of a phase out. Anyway, the point is, go to johncombest.com today. You'll find a link to the Apple podcast version of the Nick Schroer interview on Wake Up Missouri.
Now, Nick is him and one other dude are the only two members of the Freedom Caucus, correct? That's all there was?
There's some other folks, Brad. You like to poke fun at the Freedom Caucus because you founded the Super Freedom Caucus.
That's right. That's right. And it has a membership of 0 because nobody can qualify.
You can't do it. The only person that could do it would be a Brad Hildebrand. And you're not even invited to present at the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee Candidate School, Brad.
You know, I'm going to call Mr. Eno and see if he'll sneak me in for 10 minutes because I want to sell my product, by the way. And I've got stuff I want to talk about. But anyway.
Hey, last time you asked somebody to sneak you in for 10 minutes, Wendy Nordwald went to jail.
Okay.
But she did slide that window open for you, Brad.
Okay.
Would you say, Brad, you like it when women have holes in their garments?
Two things that I want to bring up with this. First off, the deal with him saying, and this is the Bill Eigel deal. He wants to get rid of personal property tax, and I say take it all the way. Take it state income tax, personal property tax, utility tax, zero tax. Make Missouri a zero tax state, and we will have tons of people. And the NFL will reconsider putting a team in St. Louis. Go like, wow, that St. Louis area, they got zero taxes. B, and can I ask you a quick question? We'll talk about this in the C
please
block.
do.
Okay, I keep forgetting, and remind me to bring this up. If the marijuana places have to transact business in cash, correct? Because they technically can't have bank accounts? Isn't that
I think so, correct, yeah.
Okay, how do they pay their taxes to the state? Do they show up at one of the state office with cash?
I think they give plasma.
Okay.
I think there was a bill from Bill Eigel, the Eigel Plasma Act. The EPA. He said that he wanted to replace the EPA, and people didn't know what he meant, but he meant the Eigel Plasma Act. So potheads have to actually give their blood. And what's sad about it is because they do drugs, it's actually tainted with THC.
Okay, that didn't answer my question. We'll talk about that in C block. Okay, number one.
The number one.
I was all set to put Nick Schroer at headline number 1 and leave number 2 to a St. Louis public radio story about the big drop in St. Louis crime until within the last hour and 15 minutes. The folks at the Post-Dispatch have a brand new spanking story up on their website. 2 data centers eye open land in Foristell at edge of St. Charles County. Now, Brad, I had a limited amount of time to analyze this story. I shouldn't use that as an excuse, but I'll just get right into it. Tonight in Foristell, the city of Foristell will vote to annex 1 parcel of land. And there are 3 parcels of land that are up for contention. Currently, they're zoned for agriculture use. But some companies came to Foristell and said, hey, you think maybe we could, I don't know, get these zoned for data center use? Now, as is often the case, the best I can tell from the story is that the people that are seeking this, Brad, they're just developers. Their name are not Amazon or Meta. No, they're just developers that might be working with some folks on some data centers. And according to the mayor of Foristell, folks came to these real estate folks came to Foristell way back in May to begin getting the ball rolling on these conversations about rezoning. And the mayor says that the conversations have just been, quote, sporadic, end of quote, about the discussion. So the mayor, again, pointed out that tonight, the only vote will be on the first parcel of land. And real quick, Brad, here's what they say. The 3 are currently zoned for agriculture use, and Foristell would need to rezone them for use as data centers. The second site is already inside the city limits and is zoned for mixed-use development. Probably would not need a zoning change, but may need other permits. So we got 3 parcels of land, and unless I'm mistaken, Brad, it looks like the ball is getting rolling, and Foristell is going to be the next place with data centers.
You know, it's going to be interesting because the folks out in Foristell don't like that. If I'm not mistaken, the current zoning in almost all of Foristell is you have to have, except for a couple, they built a little subdivision just south of 70 there, right next to the post office that has like half-acre lots. But most of the Foristell, I believe, is still zoned for 3-acre lots. What's a lot of that rural area of St. Charles County. It's going to be interesting. You know, the interesting part of that is that already you're seeing a movement to the west of St. Charles County into Wright City. I'm surprised nobody's looking at Wright City because there's still a lot of property out there you could go into. And Warren County, matter of fact, Wendy Nordwald could maybe help them with some, guidance there, and she could say, hey, if I get you zoned in Warren County, can you pay off my debt so they won't take my pension anymore? What do you think, John?
I think Wendy just texted me and said, Brad, my eyes are up here.
Okay. What's so sad about this is the ultimate NIMBY, the ultimate cave thing, because of the fact that, and once again, it reminds me of one of my favorite stories about a woman I knew who worked for a company that she went around the country trying to get cellular towers put in. And she told me the story that she was in front of a city council meeting someplace in Florida, and they were just railing on her. We don't want that cell tower in our city. We don't want that cell tower. And during the city council meeting, the mayor's phone went off, and she says, oh, this is my daughter. I have to take this call. So she takes the call and find out it's not an emergency. I'll call you back. And the lady that I knew was representing the cell tower company said, ma'am, is your cell phone important to you? Oh, yeah, because I got to be in touch with my daughter. My daughter's been ill lately. And she says, well, that's why we need this cell tower. Well, not in our city, we don't. It's to the point
and
where...
the whole audience couldn't clap because your friend made a great point.
Right. It's to the point where... And the crazy part of this is... None of the people in St. Charles use the internet, shot that down. None of those people, you know what I'm saying? I mean, to the point where...
I get it. Yeah, it's very much the definition of NIMBY. What I'm excited to hear is what is in Brad's top 3 today. We haven't had one in weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because while we were talking on the air, I rejiggered my top 3, John.
Oh, I can't wait, Brad.
Now, here, once again, John, listen, because I'm going to play a brand new commercial. You ready? Tell me what you think of this commercial.
Wait to hear it.
We'll be back with Brad's top 3 coming up.